just set up. We're going to go right here to our email signature. So I've already got a couple of options in there. I'm using my email signature from Savvy Card with that QR code. And then I also have down payment resource in there. I'm using that icon that attaches over to my lead generator in down payment resource. But I'm going to go ahead and place the one for Cloud CMA. I'm going to go ahead and put that, I'm going to kind of squeeze it in right there because it looks like there's a little bit of room there. So here, I'm going to grab that little link icon, and it's prompting me now to insert the URL that I copied over from Cloud CMA. So what would I like that display text to be? So I could say here, know your home value. Whatever you want it to say. Say okay, and now it puts that verbiage right there. First, you could make it bigger. I just don't have a lot of room. But you see this link now, know your home value. I've placed that in my email signature. And whatever type of email provider you're using, it typically is that same icon to insert a URL. It's going to be that little chain link. You would click on that, and again, I just inserted that URL. I pasted that in, and then the display text that I want to use. So I'm going to say okay and save that. So that's going to be that purpose of that lead generator. I utilize that option to copy that link. Now another option, of course, as you drop on down, you could embed into your blog or website. That's going to give you the URL, the code to copy over, right there, copy the code. You've got the share to Facebook, Twitter, or Pinterest. So keep it in mind that if you use the option that's already within the system, the default, this box is checked. It says automatically email a finished report to all of your web leads. Now, if you would prefer to receive the lead and you create that quick CMA and send it out, simply uncheck that box. That's up to you. By default, the box is checked. Okay. So that's up here under the headshot, the lead generation. Now,
Jane,
I'm going to go ahead.
Jane, before you
Hey,
move
Leilani.
on. Yeah, hi.
Sure.
You know, I was looking at the custom pages, and I had received a flyer from Scott this morning that he had customized, and I was thinking that might be a really good place to put that, Scott, in that custom pages when you bring a CMA to downsizers.
Thanks for mentioning that.
Okay. Oh, there you go, right there, Scott. So you can upload that PDF. That's a great idea. And too, guys, if you want to create your own cover sheet and make it more personalized to you, that certainly is an option. Make yours look stand out from everybody else's. Okay, so we are actually going to search for our comps. We're going to go through creating a comparative market analysis. And once you know how to do one of these reports, the other report types are exactly the same. It's always going to be the same steps. So I'm going to go over to Matrix, and I'm just going to search for my comps in the Matrix, and then we're going to pull those over to Cloud CMA. So we could use the quick and dirty method over in Cloud, but think about it's probably going to be easier for you to analyze those comparables here within Matrix. You could use either way. It's going to be up to you, but most managers and brokers prefer that their agents do their search in Matrix and then pull those over to Cloud CMA. So we're going to go up here and search for comps. Now, there's certainly the option. I'm going to search residential comparables. I could use the detail or the quick search. That's fine. You could use either one of those. I just prefer the CMA search engine because there's not as many fields to have to go through. And really what we've done here is we've taken those main fields that agents typically use when they search for comparables, and we put them on one nice compact search. Now, some might say, there's a few fields missing. I agree there are a couple fields that are missing. You know, special listing conditions. Maybe you prefer to have baths and compare baths. Maybe you would like that field as example. I've got property ADU living area. I can always add fields over by going to that add remove option. So if you want to use that route, you would simply go to add, find the field that you'd like to add over, add in the middle, and those selected fields would then always remain at the bottom of that CMA search engine. That's totally up to you. Now, keeping in mind that I'm not a realtor and I'm not saying, hey, this is exactly how you search for comps. I'm going through the steps of just using the platform. The rest is up to you. So we are going to go up here to the top left, first of all, and we're going to select the status type that we'd like to use for comps. So it's a quick pick menu, and every agent, quite honestly, searches for comps a little bit differently, but I'm going to go with the coming soon, the active, active under contract, pending, and you notice that when you select your closed sale, the date range automatically defaults going back for 6 months. So we're going to go ahead and say 0 minus 90, 0 for today. I'd like to start off and go back 3 months to find those comparables. You can always switch that date up later if you need to. It's called days back method. 0 for today, going back 90 days for that date range. Making sure that you compare your property subtype. In this case, I need a single family residence, so I'm going to compare there. And certainly every property is a little bit different, but you will find that this map search gives you that ability to type in your target property, and by default, this particular map search draws a radius 1 mile around that target property. So I've got a property address I'm going to use. That's going to be 45396 via Jaca. This one's in Temecula. And notice that when I type in that address, it has a drop down that says, did you mean? So to make this feature work, you click on that address, and now the system has grabbed that as your center point. And by default, it's drawing a radius 1 mile around it. Now I can type in the mileage I want to go out, or I can use any of those default mileages there. It's up to you. I could say, 1.1, whatever you need to do. We're going to leave it right at 1. So rather than comparing comps to a whole zip code, this is going to make it a little bit easier, less data to have to sift through. Now on the right side is where you're going to plug in if you're looking at a particular price range, of course your year-built range, number of bedrooms you're comparing to. I'm going to go by living area square footage of 2,800 to 3,200 square feet. So I'm roughly 200 on either side of my target property. We could compare garage spaces, the lot size, HOA and pool, the number of levels, and the school district. So there's the criteria that I'm going to go with. And down below, my live count is telling me I have 9 comparables. So what we can do from here, we can go to the map, to the results, our little bar that floats across the bottom, or we can go to the top and use our tabs here, map and results as well. Either way is fine, whichever works the best for you. Now when we drop in there, the closed sale are the red, green are active, and if we have active under contract, there we go, that's light blue. Pending is orange. If I have any coming soon status, the shade is pink. Now there is a legend, and it's pretty small, but you can see right over here in the bottom left-hand corner of my map where it says Google. Right above that, we see legend. That's going to tell you the reference in regards to color on your map and your status. So the pending are orange, red closed sale, green are active, active under contract is light blue, pink shade would be coming soon. That red dot is my target property. And of course, not always is that mile radius going to work. There's going to be times where it's going to jump over the freeway, a lot of different scenarios there. I can always use these drawing tools across the top and utilize the drawing tool that works best for that particular neighborhood. So you have your radius, rectangle, you have a polygon and a freehand polygon. And of course, that's up to you. All right, last tab is the result. There's the comps that have pulled back. So you guys at this point are going to go in there. You're going to open up that listing ID, go through and browse those comps and see, is this a good comp to use? I think it's handy while you're in that 360 property view. If you decide, yes, this is a comp I'd like to use, I could just go ahead and check it here. So when I go back to my agent one line, it's already checked, no going back and forth between the two views. And I could just move on right there to that next comparable and continue on through. Now, let's go back to our agent one line. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and select them all. And we are now going to take those comparables.
Jane, before you do, hi, sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
I just wanted to, you know where it says distance on there, that column?
Yeah.
I like looking at that because that really shows me how close to the subject property the comp is.
Thank you for pointing that out. That's right. I forgot that part. That is a good point, Leilani. So when we use this particular map search, when you get over to the results, it adds that extra column, which is the distance from your subject property. So keep that in mind. Thank you for pointing that out, Leilani. I almost forgot that, but that's an awesome tool to use right there.
And I love that tool, but I only found out only when you use that map feature does it show up.
Mm-hmm. Yep, only when you use on the criteria tab, only when you use that map search right there. Because think about it, that particular map search really is geared towards comps. I mean, you can always jump over to the map and you can type in an address here, but you're not going to get that distance column added. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right. So are we good so far? Anybody else have anything before we take these over to Cloud CMA? Now, I don't even have to have Cloud CMA open, because when I select the comparables and I go here under Actions, Cloud CMA is an action item, which means I have my account created. When I select the comps, I click on Cloud CMA. It says, hey, welcome, you've got your account created. Let's start creating a comparative market analysis. And just to mention, anytime that you come over from Matrix, by default, it's always going to land you on the CMA tab. So if it was a case where I was going to create a buyer tour, I would have to go over to the buyer tour tab. Okay, so keep that in mind. So here we're going to drop in, we're going to name our report. So plug in your client name. And if you're using the cover sheet that's within Cloud, that name is going to be printed on the report, so make it look nice. Any notes, those are private notes just for you. So if I want to plug those notes in, I'll show you where those are found. We'll just type in test there. Now, my subject property. So Cloud CMA doesn't know what your subject property is, because remember, we're talking about two separate softwares. Matrix, now we're over in Cloud. So I have to start typing in and tell Cloud, this is my subject property, and it should pop up right there. It is 45396 via Jaka. So it pulls the square footage beds bath. It pulls that over from the tax data. and I can go ahead. I can choose, of course, my property subtype, single family, my advanced info. If I'm planning to use the 4-column layout, I can go ahead and type a little bit more in there. And then keeping in mind, if you're going to use the cover sheet within Cloud, you can browse out here and grab that cover photo of the property if you have one. If you don't have a photo, it's going to just place the aerial shot. So we've named the report. We've got the subject property in. And now you're going to see at the bottom, how do you want to get comparative listings? It already pulled those listing ID numbers over from Matrix for us. So the listings that we selected a couple moments ago, it pulled those over. Now their method, quick and dirty on the right, it's honestly most likely going to pull back the same comps if I plug in that same criteria that I did as far as square footage range. It would take that target property, it would go out 1 mile, and I could say I want to go back 3 months. So the artificial intelligence within Cloud CMA, it's gotten much better over the years. The thing about it is it's going to pull in all the status types, the expired, canceled, and so on. You're going to have to really sift through a lot more. So that's why some agents use the quick and dirty, but if you want to, of course, you can opt to do your search for comps and matrix. So it's one or the other, okay? Now, we are currently on the criteria button. Listings is next, and you see it's grayed out. To get to that tab, I have to actually click on Fetch the Listing. So it's going to talk to Matrix in the background. It's going to pull those comps over for me, and now we're on the Listings button. So we see criteria, listings, customize, and publish. The same 4 buttons you'll see no matter what type of report you're creating in Cloud. As we drop on down, if you'd like to type in a price range for your subject property, you're going to see that option here. You're going to see that there's a pretty basic net sheet and notes available that you can utilize. And what we can do, here's the comps that we pulled over. Now, when I get to this point, if I change my mind, I want to deselect the comp, certainly, I can deselect one. I can also take and change the order. I like to go manually because I'm going to go ahead and do by status type. And then I'm going to just drop and drag to change the order. So now I've got the active under contract, my pending. Then I drop down into the closed sale, and I can always just drop and drag the order and get those arranged according to the closed price. That's up to you. Now, at the very bottom, this is important to mention because when you're using the CMA and Matrix, this used to be a feature, but it is no longer. Add a listing. So if there's a listing that was an off MLS sale that I find over in Realist Tax, I can actually add that off MLS listing here. That's important because sometimes there are. Right? Leilani, do you want to say anything there?
I was just going to mention, I'm glad you brought up that point because oftentimes we go through Orange Coast Title and they provide us comps that are not on our MLS. So this is where we can add it.
Right, exactly. So they're pulling those off MLS comps that you could find over in Realist Tax, but you've got Orange Coast doing that for you. So just go ahead and add them here. Okay. And you could even go ahead and just browse out on the internet, probably grab a Google shot of that property if you wanted to. Okay, so that would be a thought because you can actually add a photo so it kind of all looks the same, you know. All right, so now we are moving on to that next step. If you guys are good to go there, so that's on the Listings tab. The next one over says Customize. And this is important because, you know, your best bet on this one is to create your own template, right? Because if you've never been in Cloud before, let me just pull up all the pages. Here's what you're going to see when you go in here, and you're going to think, oh my goodness, I just don't need all those pages in my CMA. So if you want to take the time to go through these once, is what I would do. I would go in there, I would click on it, I would view the page and decide, do I need this page, yes or no? If I do not need it, I'm going to go ahead and just click on that little red dot, and it's going to remove it, and it's basically going to store it over here under additional content. I can add from the left-hand side by simply hitting the plus sign. So the pages that you want to use are going to be found here under your CMA report. So you're going to have to decide on that. You can drop and drag the order. So if you want to take away again, you simply hit the little red circle. It takes it out. If you want to add pages, such as your custom pages, those would be found over here. I don't have any custom pages, but there would be a section for your custom pages. So like example, if Scott's going to use that page, he adds that, and then he would find that here under his additional content. There'd be a section for custom. So that's going to take some time to get that all squared away. And you may think, you know what, I've been in Cloud CMA before. It remembers my pages every single time. But here's the thing. If Cloud CMA does an update to their software, when you go in there, it will have forgotten the pages that you used last time unless you created a template, because it happened to me. And so I learned years ago, create a template or I'm going to have to go through all those steps again. Okay? So once you have your pages selected, then you drop in there and you choose the theme that you want to use. There's a lot of different theme options. There's the modern theme, and there's the older theme, which puts QR codes on things that will also give you the option for different languages. I believe there's Spanish or English. That's up to you. You go through here and choose. I use the modern just because it looks nicer, and the pictures are just much more vibrant and just it looks a little better. So I'm going to choose my theme. I'm going to choose the layout that I want to use. Really depends how many photos and so forth. I'm going to choose the font. And this particular cover sheet, that's an extra charge. It's like one-time fee over to Cloud CMA. You'd have to actually contact Cloud CMA on that. I'm not sure what the fee is, but I'm not utilizing that any longer. It takes up mostly all the ink in your printers. All right, so
Jane, before you go, you know, I think there's a Berkshire Hathaway theme, right?
Well, you know what? I don't know if there is. Does your office have access to it?
Well, I know when I click on it, I see Berkshire Hathaway, and I don't know how I got it. It was a while ago.
Oh,
so, but
you know what?
I just wanted to let people know that it's there.
Let's see. So here we go. So it's under most likely. So it's
there's California properties.
There you go.
Yeah,
so
I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention in case you want to use it.
Yeah, you guys, you have to choose the right one. So check with Leilani and see which one, because see, there's different ones here.
Yeah, we're California properties.
California properties. So it's going to be one of those.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they have the modern.
There's a classic.
Here we go. There you
luxury.
go. There's
the
modern
luxury is
right
black, and the modern will be Cabernet.
Ellen, there you go with your luxury.
There it is, right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and that's going to have all the branding done for you, I assume, then.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Scott? Right, Leilani?
Yes.
So you won't have to worry about all that. Okay, perfect. All right. So once you do all that, I mean, if you guys decide to go that route, I don't know if you have to save it as a template or if that automatically loads up for you. You would have to check that out.
How do you save it as a template?
Well, you just go, once you have it all set, you go over here where it says Unsaved Template, and then you go to Custom and say Save as a Template and name it. and then that little save right there. So you see I've got a few templates that I use. So those are my templates that I'm using currently. I'm going to use this one right here. Okay. And this might be a good idea to create a template. I think it would be, you know, it would be the best option for you guys, really. So just
Yeah,
in case something weird happens.
I never have, so I'm happy to learn this.
Yeah, go in there and try it. If you need help, reach out. Okay, so we're ready to see the last step is to publish the report. There we go. So now it's thinking about it. It's making our report for us. So we're going to drop in there. It says we can make a flyer right from here if we wanted to. We can view the PDF, which I have one already open here. We're going to talk about View Live in just a moment, but let's look at the PDF. So here is the cover sheet that is within Cloud. It's just a regular old default cover sheet. Looks nice, though. I did have a photo of the property. And, you know, it does put the date on it. So if you do it a couple days earlier, you might want to go in and edit so it freshens the date. But there's my information, of course. I've got the map of comparable properties. And this is all just the pages that I chose. It's up to you. But here's I used the comps with just a nice layout of just one comp. I could use a template or pages and show all the photos of each property, but that's up to you. It's how many pages really that you want that CMA to be. There's a lot of different pages to add. I just want to kind of show you an option there.
Yeah, and if I could just
right.
interject, is I like putting the photos too, because if you're speaking with a seller and they think their house is worth a whole lot more than what you think, you can show the pictures of why their condition is better or the improvements that they've made compared to their home.
Yeah, exactly. There is an option to add all the photos. So you'll see that to be able to choose that page. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, so that's that. All right, now let's just go to the CMA tab itself. So let's say that I go in there, I create a CMA, I come back later, I want to find my CMA. I'm going to go here to that CMA button, view the PDF, of course, that's just what we looked at, but there's also that feature to view live. And so the view live feature is kind of nice because if you're out and you take your device with you and you want to kind of, you know, maybe share your screen, or you can even share this view live feature with the folks. Here, when you go into that view live feature the first time, and I think we've talked about this a couple of years ago or whatever it's been, but it looks like it's all set and ready to go. But actually, it's just kind of the template in the back end that pulled everything in. And so before you want to start your presentation, go up to the top left corner where you see the little hamburger. Yours would have the Berkshire Hathaway up there. I've got CRMLS, but I'll click on that hamburger. And then I'm going to hit this button right here that says Customize. So I've gone through and I've decided which pages that I want to use. If there's a page I don't want, I simply just marked it out. And then again, that same functionality of Cloud is just a simple drop and a drag, so I can put the presentation in the order that I want, right? So that's up to you. Now this particular section, it does remember. So every time I come in here, it always remembers the pages that I used the last time, okay? So you decide on that, and when you're done, drop down the bottom and hit done. If you need to change things up, you can hit customize again, okay? All right, so we're gonna X that out, top left corner, and now I got there by going to the hamburger. So when you get in here and you think, how do I customize my presentation? Top left, open the hamburger, and customize, okay? There we go. Now, I'm ready to start my presentation. So I hit start presentation, and there I put in what's a CMA, and then Cloud CMA created a quick little video. What's the smartest way to sell a home? Well, of course, to put it on to MLS. And this talks about that. Why would you want to put your home on the multiple listing service. Watch it if you have time. It's 1 minute and 18 seconds, okay? Then see how I move on through the presentation is the bottom right corner. I move on to the comps. And there's actually 3 different ways that I can showcase the comparables. Up here in the top, I see that there's compare. I could also show on the map, so I can show them, here's your target property, and here are the comps that I selected for you. I wanted to show you how close they are in comparison to your home. I could also show them the statistics of the comparables. So we can look at we can look at the active, the backup, pending, closed sale. It changes those stats up as you go through. And then the compare mode, I think this is nice because you can go in to each individual comp, click on it, and I can take them, I can show them all of the photos. I could even show the virtual tour from here if there is one attached. And we can talk about this comp. I can use this little pencil right down here, and I can actually circle things that we want to discuss. So that makes it a little bit more interactive using that pencil. We can exit out. I can move on to the next comp and then just keep moving right on through. I do like this is a really, I think this is a nice way, you know, to showcase all these comparables. And then I went back to comps, and now I can go to average pricing, and I still have that pencil where we can talk about, you know, point things out and go on through. To get rid of the pencil, you just drop in there and you exit out. Okay.
Renee has a question.
Yeah, how do you select the picture for the comp? So you know what, if it's a PDF, Renee, it's going to pull the primary photo. If that's the only, you know, if you're just using the one page, it's going to pull the primary photo. If you grab all the photos, if you say all the rest of the photos on your customizing, when you set it up, it's going to pull all the photos. So basically it's either one or all of them. Okay? Yeah, that's a great question. All right, so then I put in average price per square foot. And as you're in here too, and you're talking to your client and you're looking at these comparables, and they say, well, hey, what about that one that closed for $805, or what about the one that closed for $925? Which one was that again? Click on it. There it pops up over to the left, and I can say, well, let's take a look at this comp again. Let's go through the photos. Why did this close for $925? So you see how you can kind of go back and forth, and then the time to sell. We could also use our pencil here again. So it is a pretty cool interactive, live kind of a presentation. And I mean, if somebody came out to list my property and they gave me a, you know, they gave me a PDF, that's great and everything, the pages. But I would actually be impressed if they said, you know what, let's look at the comps together and really go through some data. I prepared a live presentation for you because that person doesn't know that the system did all that work for you. It looks honestly like you did all of it. So I think it's a really cool feature.
That is cool, but the only thing is we really need to know how to maneuver through all that because you know, I haven't used that tool, I have to admit, because this is very cool. But maybe if we use that view live, you can also have a PDF so that you can leave with the client after.
Oh, sure. I think you should leave the PDF, but you know, once you go in there and try that view live, it is so easy. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I mean, really, try it. It is really easy. Now, if I want to edit my CMA, I go right here to edit, and that takes me back, and I could change things up. But to save the changes, you just hit publish, and that's going to save the changes that you make. All right. So back there to the CMA tab again, and then right at the top, you can copy the PDF link. You can copy the live link. Little slideshow is kind of similar to the live, but not quite as cool. You have the copy the slideshow link, or you can email the report So if you want to follow up with an email, you could go ahead and you could, send them the PDF, the slideshow, and the live, and that's what that email would look like. Okay, so try it out. So that's the CMA. Leilani, would you like me to go through doing a buyer tour or a property flyer?
Well, you know what? Maybe I noticed there was a create flyer under the CMA. Can you just show how that looks?
Yeah, you know what? Let's just do a quick flyer from Matrix real quick so you get that idea. Let's just run a quick search here. Here we go. So I'm just going to grab an active listing. Oh, let me just go to a detailed search here. I'm just going to pull up a quick property. Oops, sorry about that. Disappear there. Okay. Let me just run a quick search. Before I create that flyer, I do want to mention that whatever order the pictures are in is the order that they're going to be in when you take that over to cloud. So if it's your listing and you want to change up the order of the photos, you'd have to do that here in Matrix first. It's going to take a couple of moments, and then you would take that over to Cloud CMA. So I'm going to just grab a property here. We'll grab this one, and then actions to Cloud CMA. So let me get that pull up there. There we go. So I selected my property. Same would apply if I want to create a buyer tour. I'd select the properties, actions to Cloud CMA. And then remember I said every time you come over to Cloud, it lands you on the CMA tab. But I want to do a flyer. So all I have to do is click on flyer and create my flyer. So it pulled over the listing ID number. We'll go ahead and name it. And then see the same three buttons, criteria, listings, customize, and publish. So I'll hit fetch the listing. It's going to pull that property over. And now I can open up and I can adjust my property description so that it fits on my flyer. So I can take out, I could wipe this out completely and I could update it. It changes nothing back in the MLS. It's just changing it here for my flyer. Okay. So we're on listing. We go to customize. And then you're going to see all the various themes pop up here. So you're going to choose your theme. And again, you guys can choose the Berkshire Hathaway theme. That's fine. Find it here in the drop down. And then you're going to choose the flyer layout. Basically, you're talking about how many photos do you want. I'll just go ahead and grab one here. I will grab flyer number 7. Let's see how that looks. If I change my mind, I can always change it here. And then I'm going to go to the title. Whatever the title just listed, coming soon. Maybe it's just a closed sale, new to the market. And then the description, of course, is the property description, and it's not fitting quite properly. So I could update that here as well so it fits. And now I've got a perfect flyer. And then that last step is to publish that report. So see how easy to create a quick flyer. And once that flyer is created, I'll go ahead and let that publish. We'll find that under that flyer button. I'm going to go ahead and view this one because I most likely have it so it fits. Let's see. There you go. So a nice flyer. This one I just used the one photo.
And I like that because, say, for instance, you're doing an open house of someone else's listing, you can create a flyer for yourself. That was a quick and easy way.
Yeah, very quick. And it's going to put your information on there, but it also is going to give reference to the listing office. So keep that in mind. So there you see that one's courtesy of First Team. So yeah, I mean, Cloud CMA is a great tool, and it gives you a little bit more customization than Matrix. So there you have 3 options, guys, for creating CMA. You have Cloud CMA, you've got your Matrix, and then of course RPR has some really great reports as well. So you do have options.
Jane, while you're on there, I know that we have some new agents, and even though you are going slowly, but when you're new, it goes over your head. So how could they
Yeah,
view this video? I mean, do you have a training that you could direct our agents
sure.
to?
You bet. Sure. You know what? Under the CRMLS resources, everything is here under the YouTube channel. So all of our sessions have been recorded. And if you need to do a one-to-one, just reach out. Leilani has my email address. We can always jump on Zoom and we usually do like half-hour one-to-one sessions if you need help. And if I'm not available, you know, we have other trainers as well. So there's always help there for you, but the videos are awesome.
Can
And
you
then
show
we
us a
also
CMA
have,
one?
let's see here. Let me drop into the YouTube channel. So what I would do is I would go here and I would probably type in, I'd probably just type in Cloud CMA. Let's look. So there it is, Cloud CMA webinars right there. So there's a couple of them. There's Cloud CMA, there's Cloud Stream. There's creating the CMA and matrix right there as well. So there's some longer videos, and then there's also just some quick little how-to videos, and those are going to be short, like 5 or 10 minutes. But here's the Cloud CMA overview.
And this
Looks
way
like
they
it's
can,
been a,
yeah, they can stop the video and do it, and then
yeah,
continue, and then
absolutely.
yeah.
Sure. But there's everything there. And like I said, if you need help, you can always reach out. We can always help you. Don't be shy to reach out. Okay. One more thing to point out, and then I'll let you guys go. I'm going to go here under the resources to education. And I'm going to look here under, we have webinars every day. Typically, they're live webinars, 10 o'clock and 2 p.m. And so we've got one tomorrow, if you're interested in MLS Touch. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., there's a live webinar. Cloud CMA, there's a webinar coming up, 5/12. Next Friday, that would be at 10 o'clock. RPR, there's one 5/10 at 2 p.m. So there's some great webinars. You can really catch a lot of information there as well. Okay, so I got there by going to the dashboard. I went to education, and I just went to webinar training. All right. Anything else? The change that's occurring in June. Oh, you know what? That change, and I don't know if they've actually set a date or not yet, but it's going to be here under CRMLS resources, and you already have it available. You can use it now, guys. It's going to be your new dashboard. It's called RE Center Hub. So I'm going to open mine up, and I'm sure you think, well, why do we need a new dashboard? And I said the same thing, but here's the reason why, is because the dashboard that we're currently using is owned by Clarity, and every time we want to make a change, it is a hassle. And so we've created our own dashboard so that when you guys think we need to change something, it's going to be easy for us to make that change. So go in there now and get your new dashboard set up. On the left side is where you're going to see, you know, the place where you enter your registered listings. You're going to see your quick links over to compliance, the knowledge base, support. But the main thing that you really want to go in there and get set up now is to go up to the very top. It's going to say settings. And really all that's going to do is show you what can be on your dashboard, your applications, market statistics, and the articles. Now, if there's something you don't feel like you're going to need, just go ahead and exit out. You don't have to have everything there. You could also drop and drag the order. It's up to you. Okay? Pretty easy. The view, you've got the theme, the light theme, you've got dark, or you also have the high contrast. It depends on your eyes what works best for you. This works best for showcasing most likely. Okay? Really, the main thing I would be concerned about is, where's my matrix? Where do I find cloud? So when you guys go in there, there's a little plus sign right here. It says manage apps. You need to all go in there, click on that plus sign, and decide which apps do I use? So if there's something you're not using, you probably don't need it on your dashboard. So you can see the ones that I have a star by, those are the ones that I want on my dashboard. I can always come back and change it later, right? So you go to this little plus sign, you open that up, and if you're using something that's in the marketplace, you can add that as well. Okay, that's up to you. X that out. Now you can change the view. Here we see just the icon. I like mine was showing me what is that program. I can also drop and drag these around. So you really can set your dashboard up for yourself and drop and drag. And then right down below that, you have statistics. Now I know we mentioned a couple months ago, Leilani, we talked about this. Right now, these statistics are geared towards the entire footprint of CRMLS, but they're working on giving you that option to be able to narrow those down to a specific geographic area. But your owner would most likely like this because he likes stats. So
he wants to know everything going on in California.
Yeah, so tell him this is everything right here, right? And then lastly is the articles, which they're working on those. But you know what? That's your new dashboard. You may as well drop in there. You could start using it now. You could forget the old dashboard and you could just use this one because shortly that old dashboard, when you open it up, it's not going to be there any longer. And I don't want you guys to be surprised when you go in and not know what to do, okay? So go to your current dashboard, go to CRMLS resources, go right down here, open up that RE Center Hub, and if you need help, just, reach out and say, hey, Jane, I need help. Don't be shy to reach out anytime, okay? Alrighty. Scott, thanks for bringing that up.
Thank you.
I thought you guys were in, I don't want to take up too much of your time, so I want to always be aware of our time frame here.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jane. I learned a lot of new things.
Awesome. Renee, you're very welcome. I'm always glad to help you guys out. So like I said, reach out if you need help. I just wanted to ask real quick, Leilani, how's George?
Oh, he's getting there. He's better. He just needs to talk. But so next month, it's the first Thursday of each month that we meet, right?
Yep, and you guys decide the topic. I've saved the date, but we talked about the topic closer. You decide. You can decide what you need. Okay. There is going to be a new search that's going to roll out. You're going to have two different search options for the UI. When you go into your detail or quick search, you're going to have the option to search more like you would see a user interface over in Realist Tax, or you can stick with the search option that you have now. Honestly, I don't think you guys are going to like it, but you're probably going to need to learn it just in case the old search goes away. So I don't know when that's going to roll out, but when it does, we'll help you with it. Okay.
Thank you. And maybe you and I can talk later and see what's valuable for agents or what you see people needing help with.
You bet. And you guys, you can kind of talk about it too, what you guys need too. So, but we'll chat before then.
Okay. Thank you, Jane.
You're welcome, guys. Have a great rest of the day. Take care now. Thank you. Bye-bye. You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.